Welcome back to No Hair, All Heart. I'm Mookie Spitz, the author of Jonnie, Fazoolie, and the Transfinite Reality Engine, and I'm reading a section every day, and today it's Piddle of a Riddle, the 8th reading from the book. If you're following along on page 47 of the first edition print copy, and of course, if you're Kindling, just do a search. Get into it. Ready? Penny doesn't make it more than a few steps away until Jonnie, always hovering near a singularity, dives into another black hole. Seasoned pro at being evasive, he's also adept at evasive action. Not so fast, gestures Jonnie, tilting his head and raising his blonde caterpillar eyebrows. She's too buttoned up and serious, and he's too sloppy and horny for him to give up without another go-go. Let's play a game, he suggests, trying to spice things back up. I don't play games, she scoffs, sliding open the balcony door. Ack, barfs BS the cat, hurling a gnarly hairball right into Jonnie's big blonde bouffant. The trichobezoar is like a wet snowball slamming into a muddy mountain, causing a landslide. He, chuckles Penny. Fuck, sighs Jonnie. Jonnie hair tosses the hairball off the balcony and pushes the cat off his shoulder as Penny continues to giggle at his expense. The puss scampers by, rubs her leg, and leaps onto her chair, waiting. The sudden shift in the center of gravity disorients Jonnie, who's already disoriented by the smell of her perfume and the swishing sound of her pantyhose when her legs cross and uncross. Everything you say is either true or false, he continues, his game undaunted, talking with his hands. I win if I can trick you into giving me information that's true, even if you're lying. I have no idea what you just said, says Penny, closing the patio door and sitting back down. The cat nuzzles into her lap as she takes out her notepad again, scribbling to appear engaged. Try me, grins Jonnie. Okay, she says, acquiescing against her better instincts. Penny has no idea why she has enabled this excruciating exchange to continue. The cat licks himself, watching. How do I win? If I can't. Can't what? Can't make you give me info that's true, even if you're lying. I heard you the first time. I repeat myself when under stress, repeats Jonnie, quoting a King Crimson lyric without remembering the song. I repeat myself when under stress. I repeat myself when... You were saying? I was saying? You're so annoying. You think? He grins, flicking away the last of the hairball residue. The cat purrs contentedly, his long, bushy tail undulating in sync with the mood on the balcony, sketchy and chaotic. For an instant, Penny senses a vast conspiracy strategized and orchestrated by Jonnie and his cat. The next second, she concludes that the cat is here because nobody else wants to be. Do you like me? Asks Jonnie without a hint of irony or doubt. Meow, grins the cat. Hello, she gestures with literal air quotes, trying to refocus him, questioning her own sanity for returning and continuing to indulge this maniac. Mother warned her about guys like Fazoolie. Hi! I win if I can make you give me information that's true, he repeats, erroneously concluding that she's getting excited about his game of logic and, by extension, him. Even if you're lying. How will I know either way? It'll be obvious, but still surprising. Kind of like you. Every damn day, he winks, revving himself back up. What does the winner get? She asks, hoping for some reprieve. A surprise! Sorry I asked. Never say you're sorry. I just asked. I do the asking. That's what I was afraid of. Don't be afraid, assures Jonnie Fazoolie. I'll go first. I can't wait, smirks Penny Pitts. Ready? He asks. No, she frowns. Here we go! Jonnie abruptly stands as if to prove a point and almost passes out from sudden dizziness, blurred vision, gasps for air, chest discomfort, and jarring pins and needles in his arms and legs. Whoa, exclaims Penny. You all right? Momentary lapse, whispers Jonnie, holding himself steady with one hand on the arm of his bench, another on Penny's shoulder. His cat tracks a mote of dust with keen interest. Penny writes orthostatic hypotension at the bottom of her list that starts with drug and sex addict and ends with loser. This lunatic must be changing his frame of reference all the time. She pokes Johnny's hand, and he removes it from her shoulder as his pale face just as suddenly flashes bright red, confirming her suspicions that this guy likely won't even finish the interview. Where was I? He asks, finishing his cocktail. You were going first, points out Penny. Oh, yeah, thanks for that. You're welcome. Chew! Jonnie stares at Penny. Penny stares right back. Jonnie blinks, picks his nose, and flicks the loogie away without realizing he's doing it. Oblivious to her look of disgust, he clears his throat. Where's your home? Excuse me? 3 strikes! Are you kidding me? I only laugh on my way to the bank. Do you cry coming back? Goads Penny. Will you marry me? Winks Jonnie. No. She feels violated and for the first time since meeting this disappointing oddity, almost interested. Up to now, this train wreck has been all about him. Penny savors some attention. The flip in her feelings is disorienting, though, and she can't tell in a good way or bad, but leaning toward bad. He's one of the most annoying people she's ever met, and yet, she reminds herself the absurdity of this situation is of her own making. Deeming herself the prankster, a renegade, she's gotten what she's asked for, and presumably what she's long deserved. At least according to her mother, the last person she wants to think about at the moment. Judgmental, demanding, arrogant, entitled, envious, utterly self-absorbed, a textbook narcissist. The emotional reflex suggests that Jonnie is not only all of these things too, but despite and likely because of being so similar to her mom, is truly starting to flick her switch. Oh no! Where do you live? He asks again, sensing her titillation and discomfort, proportionally increasing his own confidence and arrogance, a reciprocal relationship he's enjoying very much. What are you talking about? How about that joint? No. Do you live in the land of truth? He elaborates, nodding and gesturing over the balcony railing. Or do you live in the land of falsehood? Pointing inside his fancy but filthy condo. I live in the land of truth, of course, she replies, nodding toward the city. then turning her head and shaking it at the rest of his place behind her. Your penthouse is a horrifying mess. Aha! Shouts Jonnie, grabbing a bright purple wingsuit from the mounds of debris around them, starts putting it on. If everything you say is the truth, then that statement is, of course, true too. Wow, says Penny. Did you figure that all out by yourself? Yes, me, myself, and I, bows Jonnie at each I am, tapping his sunken chest in quick succession. Thrilled she's not getting it yet, eager to lay some logic on her. Never a dull moment. One can only imagine. Imagine what? Imagine that, she sleers, closing her notepad and pointing to his extreme sporting equipment. She's never seen this kind of stuff in person, let alone being donned. Where did you get that? Dig it, gestures Jonnie, trying to juggle a joint, a drink, extreme sporting equipment, and his cat. Penny wonders what must go on inside his big blonde head, decides that's a bad idea. Expressly designed for controlled ballistic flight, his Freak 5 wingsuit looks like the body and limbs of a flying squirrel, explaining the cool eponymous name of its manufacturer. The arms and torso of the suit are integrated into a single continuous surface, creating a mono-wing design which looks like a large aerodynamic cape stretched tightly across his back. The high-tension nylon and ripstop fabric is ideal for wing pressurization, creating a long, sleek profile that extends from wrists to ankles and forms a tapered in-flight triangle shape. Now get this, adds Jonnie, putting on his wingsuit. If everything you say is false, then that statement is also true because you don't live there, which is a lie, making it true. Penny frowns, tilts her head upward, rubs her chin, frowns again, tilts her head downward, and much to her own surprise and dismay, is forced to admit that she sees what this guy did there. I see what you did there, she says out loud. Jonnie, slipping into his wingsuit with his extra long and thin arms and legs, looks to Penny like a human cicada shedding its exoskeleton and freeing itself after 17 years, but in reverse. He then climbs on top of the balcony railing and turns to salute her. I win, he declares, adjusting purple wingsuit and camera, his tall, thin frame looming over the cityscape like a scarecrow. I told the truth, which was true, duh, acknowledges Penny. But even if I would have lied, you would have known based on the falsehood being false. Or something like that. Is that right? Bingo! Smiles Jonnie, ready to rip. He feels awkward standing there suited up on the railing, his daredevil stuntfluencer YouTube persona at intense odds with his shameless cowardice. The moment just before Jonnie leaps into a stunt is always his toughest. Tipping point reached when the adrenaline rush exceeds his far more reasonable yet much less satisfying fear of death. Okay, so what's your prize? She asks. A date! Too late, shaking her head. And no fair, I didn't share mine. You didn't win. Technical detail. Will you marry me? No. You sure? Yes. Is that yes, you'll marry me, or no, you're sure you won't? What do you think? I think we would live happily ever after, claims Jonnie. I'm not so sure, says Penny, shaking her head. No, 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 no. Sure about what? Sure about that. Meow. Either too late or not early enough, Jonnie finally takes no for an answer, turns, activates his GoPro, salutes, and hurls himself off the balcony, wingsuit base jumping from the 109th story. Hooch your Fazoolie! He shouts, the most unexpected YOLO and Geronimo she's ever heard, making her wonder if he's a true baller or buffering, and likely both. Jonnie dives headfirst into the sky, arms and legs outstretched, the unpressurized suit loosely stretched between limbs and torso, purple ripstop nylon flapping in the air, Jonnie in total free fall. Oh my fucking God, number one. Thanks for today's listen. Find out what happens to Jonnie and Penny in the next reading.